Water tank was empty. Now, most of my life, I have lived in houses that have been supplied by water tanks. Okay, so the water falls on the roof, just much as like this house here, goes down the spouting and into a tank, and then it's pumped into the house. And I remember opening up one of the water tanks, some place that I lived, and the tank was empty, and all you could smell was like a silty residue in the bottom of the tank. And no rain had entered the tank for weeks, and slowly the water had just drained out, and now it was empty. And it just stank. It was putrefied, dirty, and vile, and I was thinking, oh, we're drinking that. Now, I have talked with people who are a bit like that water tank. They have drained their life, and love has poured out their life to others, needy others, and they just kept on giving out and giving out and giving out until all that was left was like a bitterness, a resentment, and a feeling of being used, and it stank. It was awful. They are also vulnerable. It's when a water tank, particularly plastic ones, and they're above the ground, when they are empty, they are quite vulnerable to strong winds because there's no weight holding them to the ground. It's just sitting there. And so a strong wind can just topple them over. And I've found that also with people who have just given out, given out, given out to the point where they're completely empty, that they've got nothing within themselves and they're very fragile to just being toppled over. And there's a hollow emptiness to themselves. And I wonder whether you've been in that situation where you've just given out and given out and given out and given out, and now there's just kind of an emptiness within you. Now, I look to Jesus for a lot of how I live my life, and Jesus was both fully human, so he knew was completely like what it was to be like to be fully drained, and he also knew what it was like to be completely and fully divine. So I'm going to suggest that Jesus was also like us and that he was prone to having his love tank being emptied, for his love tank to be completely drained out. Because you think about his life, he was constantly ministering and talking to people, praying with them, giving out love, healing illnesses, and then taking on religious leaders who wanted to trick him and to trip him up. His love tank must have drained incredibly low at times. Yet he always seemed to have enough for the day. And you got to think, well, who or what poured into him to maintain that sense of love? Who attended to his deepest emotional love needs? And I think, some of his disciples did to as much degree as they are possible. And I think of Mary pouring beautiful, beautiful perfume over his feet. And there's a story where it says Mary came with a jar of very expensive aromatic oils, anointed and massaged Jesus' feet, then wiped them with her hair. And the fragrance of the oils filled the whole house. I wonder if that met some kind of special need within Jesus for human touch. Sacrificial, tender love goes deep into places of dryness where even God cannot reach without us. I think Christ needed human touch. I wonder if his eyes got a little moist as she touched and worked the oils into his feet. I wonder whether something just happened in him that he could not control. The expression of love into him. And I think there's a dryness in all of us at times that only can be met through someone else's gentle touch. Look, I have to keep coming back to the most purest source of love if my love tank is to have weight and meaning. I also need the purest of love as my source if I'm to give out pure love. Therefore, I have to keep coming back to Jesus and drink from his presence. And John tells us the story of Jesus talking about this type of water. On the final day and climactic day of the feast, Jesus took his stand. He cried out, "If anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. Rivers of living water will brim and spill out of the depths of anyone who believes in me in this way." I wonder at times about those who have empty love tanks if they have spent time drinking themselves. Do they have a devotional life where they kind of secret themselves away to a quiet place to spend time in prayer? Jesus said this, here's what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted to role play before God. Just be there as simply and honestly as you manage. The focus will shift from you to God and you'll begin to sense His grace. The world is full of so-called prayer warriors who are prayer ignorant. They are full of programs and formulas and advice and healing techniques. Ugh, it still goes on. Forgetting what you want from God. Just do this, this, this. Don't fall for that nonsense, Jesus says. This is your Father you are dealing with, and He knows better than you what you need. With a God like this, loving you, you can pray very simply. I like to pray very simply. So here's some thoughts about filling the empty love tank, the tank where you have given out and given out and given out love to others, and now you are drained and empty, vulnerable, smelly, and you need some love in yourself. Well, first of all, take responsibility for yourself. Number one, take responsibility for yourself. Don't stop making it other people's responsibility to fill your love tank. It's your life, and no one will ever be enough to fill your love tank. You are the one who has to go to that quiet place and be refilled. No one else can do it for you. You are the one that has to take responsibility for yourself. Number two, turn off the tap. Sounds obvious, but stop for a moment the giving out to others. It's not selfish to self-care. Turn off the tap, shut the door, no visitors allowed. Okay? No one, look, I like to give out, give out, give out, but sometimes I just got to shut the door and say, no, I need to look after myself. Taking responsibility, I turn the tap and I say, no visitors allowed. Number three is observe the pull. What is there pulling you to do that seems easy? Is it to check out social media? Is it to do anything but be quiet? It's so easy to flick into instantaneous quick hit. I've found that there's often a strange pull wooing my heart. Something that sings to me, come away with me. And Rumi, he says, let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. Now, I think Jesus would have experienced this pull as a call to spend time with God in the desert or on the mountains or down by the beach, just away. For me, that strange pull might be to pull my Bible and read out my Bible, or to pray, or to listen to music, or to take a walk on the beach, or to write some poetry, or just go for a walk, attend the garden. Just a strange pull. Just come here and spend some time with me. Uh, it's a strange pull in that it has a kind of an allure to it. As I attend to it more, the strangeness has almost natural. Of course, this is what I must do. Sense to it. Oh, of course, I must go there. So the activities of reading the Bible, prayer, listening to music, they become part of my daily routine where I shut other people away and I just pull myself away and enjoy the present moment of what the pool offers me. And I give, so I, as a tap down below, it's turned off, but I can actually get an overflowing abundance flowing into me. So my tank overflows to others. And as I regularly do this, my tank is full, and so it kind of overflows out to others. The fourth thing is form it into a habit. This is just what I do. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is normal for me. This is who I am. I'm known as one who is a full love tank because I've found the source and I give out of the abundance, not the dregs. Here's a poem that I wrote. The tank is empty, I've stifled the flow. I've given out more than they would know. I'm a hollow vessel, empty and forlorn. Smelly residue is all I have, poison, resentful scorn. I've given out, poured out all I have. It's now a bitter drop that drips from a rusty tap. I turn the tap, stop the little flow. Time to receive more than I would know. I notice there is something coming in. It's especially for me. The sacred divine water source, sparkling, fresh and free. I want to turn the tap and give out the little I have got, but a gentle hand pulls me back. This is your sacred lot. My tank is full, my cup it overflows. Now people receive from the spilling over, not the dredges down below. I've learned this one thing, that to give I must receive. To spend time with the water source, let it wash all over me. I cannot give what I do not have, so I carve out time for we. Special time alone with Christ, water of life trickling into me. Come fill my cup, it's open to receive. I sit this quiet morning, love reach out to me. Hey, if you've found this helpful, send me an email. Love to get emails from people. It encourages me to keep writing and creating. It's barry@turningthepage.co.nz. And you may want to share this with somebody else. Subscribe, of course, if you're on YouTube or when you listen to the podcast. But share it with somebody else. Tell people that this is really good stuff. Hey, and if you may also consider giving a little gift to me, just financially. It does cost money to do what I'm doing, and so every dollar helps just to keep this whole turning the page thing trickling along. Until next time, fill that empty love tank. Don't let it get to the dredges. Bye.